Hell yeah, let's do this. Man, it's been way too long since I did one of these. I mean, sure, there's been a lot to talk about. A bunch of different adventures I've been on, including a trip to Nashville back in December to see Joshua Ray Walker. And you would think after 20 hours of spending, time with just the old thinker, just by myself, that would be pretty bad. But it actually turned out quite the opposite. I've been doing a lot of work on myself and this podcast. I'm going to continue to call it a podcast, but I'll get into that in a second. This one may be a little tricky for me because of some real life stuff that I'm dealing with right now. Um, but I'm ready to cut. I'm ready to dig in, get this done. So recently I had lunch with a friend of mine, and he was one of the first people I kind of started this whole quantum mind theory that I'm developing on. So what is quantum mind theory, you ask? I'll put a link in the description if you're super curious. In short, it's this theory that all of human consciousness and all human knowledge exist on sort of this cosmic plane. And we're basically just radios that tune in to frequencies in that realm. And it goes into a lot of depth about how that's how people who are like minded end up getting together. And I'm going to have my pal on, and we're going to just talk about it like we did that day at lunch to really go through this because it was a fantastic conversation, and it was only like 8 or 9 minutes long. So can't beat that, right? Um, so if you're watching the video for this, that's a little bit of the work I've been doing on all this. There's some more fine tuning to kind of help me get through the mental aspect of this and get my head into the right place so I can talk about these things more often. Normally, and a little bit tonight, anxiety and doubt, second guessing myself, all that negative stuff slides in. And I will record one of these and my voice will be flat and I start to fall apart a little bit. And the Internet Losers Attic really contributes to that. The view up here is all wrong. The physical space, too, just brings me all this weird anxiety and nervousness. And if you're listening to this, I admit I've been a letdown in that regard. At some point between trying to deal with seeing my face on camera and the fact I knew my head wasn't just quite right, I kind of forgot about the audio stuff, but I'm going to fix that today. I also wanted to talk about a couple of other things. The 1 year anniversary of the death of Mojo Nixon was back on February 7th. Now, I've seen a couple of thumb down results on the Mojo episodes, and I get it, he's not for everybody. I love him, but I equally respect your opinion not to like him. But I'm not here, no offense, right? I'm not here for the money, the likes, or the follows, or the subscribes, or any of that. If you do those things, I love you for it, sincerely. Just knowing there are people out there that will listen to my fancy notions helps me a whole lot. But that's not why I'm here. While I was waiting for my buddy at lunch, I thought about a lot of stuff. Mostly, there's the subject of my dear departed friend, Blair Matthew Cummings. I'd put a picture up of him, but I don't have one right now. That little asshole's been on my mind a lot lately. My plan is to really sit down, get my head right, and get into this one day real soon. Um, Blair was a massive fan of the Eagles, and so it's really hard not to think about the little asshole right now. Um, I'm not here to judge anyone, by the way. I have friends I love dearly that are Eagles fans. But if you pay attention to stereotypes, Blair was the worst kind of Eagles fan. He's the guy that would be hanging off the streetlight that you see on TV. He would have set something on fire, perhaps his own sofa. And these are the jokes that he and I could make to one another. I really like where I am with telling his story right now. So getting through all this is that much more important for me. Um, And I want to talk about some of the stuff I've been up to as I've been making these adjustments. Some of the people I follow on social media and kind of why I watch them. A whole bunch about Kevin Bacon, the dog, not the actor, of course. Kevin's going to be a year old soon, and there's some big changes coming for Kevin. He's got this condition called cherry eye, which is kind of weird to look at. It's basically a expressed tear gland in one of his eyes. So he's got to get that taken care of, and he's got to get chipped and snipped and all that jazz. But, I'll be honest with you, that dog is saving my life every single day. Most of all, though, I want to talk about technology. It's really tough to avoid it because it is such a part of who I am. If you know me in real life, this is pretty much it. In the quantum sense, tech is like the most popular station on my quantum radio. Always has been, always will be. And I've thought a lot about how I can use what I know in a way that helps put together some kind of following. Not an audience or a cult or anything terrible. Remember, I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. Make your own decisions. But if stuff comes along that I believe in, I will mention it. I'll talk like hell about it. But that's because of my personal belief, not because of any kind of influence. Because I'm not trying to build an audience, make your own decisions. I'm not trying to tell you what's right or wrong, left or right, These are just my opinions, right? Finally, let's talk about my shirt. This is what I wore when I went to see Joshua Ray Walker back in December. I bought a hat from his merch table too, and I'm going to do a big old sappy update on him very soon. It's all just such good stuff. It feels good to feel good, I used this metaphor on my buddy last week at lunch. Imagine you're used to being stuck in traffic. You're plodding along inch by inch. And suddenly, the road in front of you is just wide open. Things are clear for miles. The temperature is perfect. The weather is gorgeous. And the air is just it's even easier to breathe. A little cool maybe, but perfect. It's that clear air in my brain I felt that day. There are good days, like the day I wrote this script. And there are much rougher days, like today. These are the days I'm working to take back. Take care.